Pro Football Focus just released their shocking Nebraska grades versus Northwestern. These are the craziest of the year so far, and it isn't even particularly close with the offensive line, with the defense, and with Dylan Raiola. So we'll talk about it. My reaction to all of the grades, who played well, who didn't, and everything else you need to know, along with my reaction to all the news from today, because there's been a lot of it. The AP poll, USC may or may not be ranked. We'll talk about that. Teddy Prohaska injury update around him, whether or not he'll be out for the season. Bowl game projections, a couple former Huskers, one balled out yesterday, one got arrested yesterday, and one entered the portal yesterday. We'll talk about all three. Some recruiting implications with a big-time coach potentially getting fired within the next couple hours, and my reaction to all the Big Ten games from yesterday and their implications toward the Huskers at large. So really quick, this is a jam-packed video. Hey, if you're having a good Sunday, because I know I am, hit that like button. And also, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for daily contact with Huskers? It's no brainer. It takes 2 seconds. Join the family. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, we have a lot to talk about. I want to get things started running over Nebraska's Pro Football Focus grades versus Northwestern because they were shocking. I want to start things off with the offensive line because that's the unit that has been highly scrutinized over these past couple of days, whether or not they would bounce back versus the Wildcats. And while, granted, they did have their struggles yesterday, that did not reflect itself on the Pro Football Focus grades. Nebraska had their best offensive line pass pro grade of the season versus the Wildcats, a total grade of 84, which not only is phenomenal, it's one of the best in America. Elijah Pritchett had a total pass pro grade of 86. Henry Letufsky had a total pass pro grade of 84. Spindler, 84. Turner Corcoran, 82. And you go down the list. Pretty much every single offensive lineman for Nebraska graded out very well in the pass pro, and they also graded out very well in the running game as well. Now, when you watch the film, I don't think that really holds itself up. I do believe we get multiple big-time pressures, especially on the last drive of the game. If you rewatch that last drive, there were a couple of times where Dylan could have got sacked, but he made some miraculous plays to extend the play and find the open man, whether it's Nyziah or Jacory Barney. So I remember there was one player in particular that I think was on the 4-minute mark in the fourth quarter, and Turner Corcoran just gave up this easy pressure. I mean, there was somebody coming right at Dylan. Dylan stepped up and made a great throw. So Turner Corcoran, I don't necessarily agree with him getting a grade of an 82, but I mean, Elijah Pritchett, I'll give credit where credit's due. Man, he had a really good game yesterday. But the thing around Elijah, the thing around the entire offensive line, they're inconsistent. So yes, they played well versus Northwestern, and we know Northwestern, they have a good defense, but they lack talent. And it's one thing to play well versus them. It's a whole different challenge when you go up against the Michigans of the world, the USCs of the world, the Iowas of the world even. So cool, they played well versus Northwestern. I'm proud of them, but they got to be consistent because really they played well versus Cincinnati too. They played well in the FCS, and when we played FCS schools, when they played Akron, but when you play these upper echelon squads, they crumble. So great job. You did well versus Northwestern, but we got to see it next week versus USC. As for the rest of the offense, about as you would expect, Nyziah Hunter graded out very well, best graded receiver on the team. Emmett Johnson got a grade of about 78, which I think is pretty valid. Dylan Raiola was around there as well, very efficient on the day, according to Pro Football Focus. As for the defense, I mean, you got to start things off with the defensive line. One of the worst total grades I've ever seen from that unit, maybe ever. Pretty much everybody graded in the 40s or the 50s. Elijah Judy had a grade of 51. Williams Nwaneri had a grade of a 44, and again, just doesn't get better. And that's the thing about Williams Nwaneri is that he's really dropped off over these past couple weeks. I mean, he played very well versus Maryland, he played very well versus Michigan State. Again, I thought he even had his moments a little bit versus Minnesota, but I mean, he was nowhere to be seen yesterday, pretty much had no pressures. He got benched a little bit in the second half just because he was getting exposed in the running game. And again, if you're not making plays in the pass rush, we know you're not going to hold down the running game. That's not what he is. He's more of a James Williams type of guy, okay? The only reason why he's on the field is to get to the quarterback. So if you're not doing that, you're just not doing anything. So Williams did not play well along with pretty much any player on this defensive line. Funny enough, the best grade defensive lineman we had was Cameron Lenhard. And Cameron Lenhard didn't do much either. So that says a lot. But I've been of the belief pretty much all season long that our defensive line is actually worse than our offensive line. I'm of that belief because statistically they get no pressure ever. They not only don't get sacks, they never get pressure at all. They only rely on Williams Nwaneri and Sam McColl. If those guys aren't getting the quarterback, nobody is. They can't stop the run. They lack a lot of talent. They lack a lot of depth. And clearly Terry Brand isn't doing a phenomenal job there. But again, they're inconsistent, similar to this offensive line. So hopefully they bounce back versus the Trojans. As for the rest of the defense, Rex Guthrie graded out very well along with Donovan Jones. Both of them have bounce back games coming off of Minnesota. So you're right, graded out very well in the 80s along with Deshaun Singleton. Andrew Marshall didn't grade out well, but again, I thought Andrew Marshall bounced back. I'm not really worried about Andrew. He's had a couple bad weeks according to Pro Football Focus, but again, we saw the flashes. Again, he's going to be here next year too, so I'm not freaking out on Andrew Marshall like some of the fan base is. Again, as for the rest of the team, again, pretty much status quo. Vin Shavers didn't grade out well at all. Deshaun McCullough did not grade out well at all. Really, that's about it for the defense. So pretty much the headliner was the offensive line grading out well. But I would probably give them a pass pro grade of probably 75. Again, they definitely did well. Only gave up 1 sack, but was as good as what they like to tell you? Maybe not, right? I think a lot of those times, a lot of the reason why we only gave up 1 sack was because of the offensive philosophy, getting the ball out of Dylan's hands quick, and also I thought Dylan made some good plays to step up in the pocket when needed and avoid a couple sacks. All right, those are the grades. Let's get into all of the news from today because there are a lot of it. I mean, let's start things off with the AP poll because, man, oh man, it was a doozy. It was surprising to many, including myself. The first thing that jumped out to me, look at USC. I was not expecting them to be ranked again. They pretty much got annihilated versus Notre Dame 2 weeks ago. They had a bye week this past week. I mean, yeah, they only lost Notre Dame by 10 points, but again, they got physically dominant. That game probably should have been a blowout. Notre Dame probably should have beat them by 20, 30 points. So USC, they're back in the rankings at 5-2. That's shocking to me. I honestly like it. I like that they're ranked because it allows Nebraska to finally get the ranked win and get the monkey off their back. I want the stakes to be high as possible. So USC will be ranked when they come to Nebraska. This Saturday, Michigan is still 21 in America. So again, I'm hoping Michigan still finds success because that makes that loss look a little bit better for us. As for Cincinnati, they're 17 in America. Cincinnati keeps winning, man. Now, is Cincinnati the 17th best team? Absolutely not. I mean, they've played nobody this season. The Big 12 is so incredibly weak. But, I mean, kudos to them, man. They keep winning. They got talent. They got a study quarterback. And again, it's making us look good, so I can't complain. Texas at 20, that's ridiculous. Texas almost lost at Mississippi State yesterday. Texas should not be ranked. They're a joke. Texas is a complete joke, along with Missouri. Missouri's a complete joke, too. They lost to Vanderbilt. But they're just a bunch of 5-2, 6-2 teams who are ranked. And Nebraska, we received 0 votes. How did we receive 0 votes? And a lot of these terrible teams like Texas and Missouri are still ranked. It makes no sense to me. Makes no sense. As for the rest of it, Vandy's up to 9. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Georgia Tech at 8. Indiana still at 2. Again, this is the new era. This is the NIL era. This is the portal era. I kind of like it. There's more parity than ever before, and I think that's a good thing for our sport. A lot of new teams in the top. And then going on to, again, the receiving votes, Nebraska, we have not received a single vote, even though we're 6-2. So, again, I can't believe USC's ranked, Missouri's ranked, Tennessee's ranked, and we didn't get a single vote. Nobody voted for us, really? I'm not saying we deserve it, but nobody? All right. That's a little bit surprising. All right, let's get into the bowl game projections per ESPN. I've seen this one a lot. Of course, we'll be looking at bowl game projections a lot more because, again, this is a reality. We will make a bowl game for the second year in a row, and I'm seeing Nebraska versus Texas more than pretty much any other. I'm seeing Nebraska versus Texas, Nebraska versus Oklahoma, and really Nebraska versus Missouri. Those are the 3 that I've seen a lot. So I'm hoping we play one of those 3 teams. Can go back to our Big 12 days. I'm hoping it's in either Nashville. I want Nashville or I want Tampa. Those are the 2 that I want. I want to be in a warm environment, ideally in Florida. Ideally, we're in Florida and Tampa, so a lot of Nebraska fans can go on vacation. Nashville wouldn't be super fun, but I would definitely like to play Texas. Or again, Tennessee. I wouldn't mind playing Tennessee, get a little bit of revenge for that Music City Bowl we played back in 2016. And I also saw this one, Nebraska versus Cal in Las Vegas Bowl. Yeah, let's not do that one. Let's not go to Las Vegas versus Cal. I don't know how fun that would be. So I wouldn't be too big of a fan of that one. As long as they give us like a decent opponent with a decent fan base. Like Boston College last year was lame. They don't have fans. They kind of have a history, but still, I mean, give us a good place to play against a quality opponent with quality fans, and we'll have a good time for sure. As for Teddy Prohaska, again, confirmation. I got confirmation that looks like he will be out for the season with a knee injury. We only have 4 weeks left anyways, so it'd be tough for him to come back anyways. But Teddy Prohaska likely out for the year. Should be confirmed by Matt Rule tomorrow. But again, just not good news around Teddy, but he wasn't playing good football anyways. So as for the rest of this offensive line, people need to step up. Whether it's Turner Corcoran, he graded out well on Pro Football Focus. Maybe he's our right tackle going forward to end out his career. Maybe Gunnar Gattulo starts playing better. He'll be back from injury probably next week. I mean, maybe Tyler Knack, maybe Sam Sledge, we'll see. But again, we are really starting to reach into our depth now that Teddy's out. But again, this is probably the least shocking news of the year. I mean, at some point we knew Teddy was going to get injured. I'm proud that he made it up until late October. I thought it was going to be a lot earlier, but he will be out for the year for the remaining 4 weeks. And then I wanted to show this to you guys. I saw this earlier. Nebraska has the 5th leading rusher in all of college football in Emmett Johnson. And yet, our entire rushing offense ranks 101st. How is that even possible? How is it even possible with this offense? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, it's because of our sack issue. Because, again, Dylan Raiola gets sacked constantly. In college football, if you get sacked, it's minus rushing yards. It doesn't happen in the NFL. And also, the reason why this is what it is because our running back depth is literally the worst in the Big Ten. Like, we don't. If Emmett Johnson were to go down at any point, we'd be screwed. And we're lucky he's still healthy. But again, Isaiah Mozee, while we saw some flashes, he's not ready. Mekhi Nelson's not ready. Quinn Ives not ready. So, I mean, that's just a testament. I mean, that shows you how much Emmett Johnson's putting this offense on his back. He's literally the only guy getting yardage in the running game whatsoever. Everybody else is not doing anything for him. So, I mean, again, if Emmett were to ever get injured, we're lucky he's healthy because, man, this offense would go to kaput overnight. Then a couple news from some former Huskers. Look at this. Grant Seagren, who I believe just 2 weeks ago was graded as the #1 right tackle in America, according to PFF, has entered the portal, along with his buddy Jalyn Lloyd, who also entered the portal. Now, Jalyn Lloyd, he's not going to come back to Nebraska. He'll probably go to a lower level school and play. It is what it is. Grant Seagren might come back. You never know. You never know, because that's somebody who's from Nebraska. Okay, he probably would have played for the Huskers, but he transferred because again, he didn't love the coaching staff, didn't love Donnie, but he's somebody who really cares about his academics. He was in the Rake school at Lincoln. Oklahoma State's not a great academic school compared to the Huskers. So listen, he might come back to Nebraska. You never know. You never know. I wouldn't mind it. I think there's a real possibility. I really do. He made sure not to burn some bridges. So Jalyn Lloyd, he did burn some bridges. Grant Seagren didn't. You never know. Just watch out for him, but he has entered the portal. I believe he has 2 years of eligibility remaining. Also, former Nebraska tight end, dare I say Husker legend, Arik Gilbert has been arrested again for shoplifting and obstruction charges. Pretty sad news there around Arik Gilbert. Super talented, but man, some people just can't get out of their own way off the field. So wish him the best of luck. But yeah, that's just awful news around a former Husker who, again, didn't do anything here, but still, we gave him a chance and he did what he did. So it is what it is. And then last thing, PRINCEWILL Emmanuel had one of the best games I've ever seen from an edge rusher yesterday versus Oklahoma. He completely wrecked the ball game. 12 tackles, 4 TFLs, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. Yeah, I wish that guy was still in Lincoln. And Tim tweeted this out. Tim said, that the reason PRINCEWILL left was because of NIL. I don't agree. Him leaving had nothing to do with NIL. Sure, he's getting paid more at Ole Miss, but the reason why PRINCEWILL left Nebraska is because this staff kind of screwed him over. I mean, let's just be real. PRINCEWILL was somebody, whenever he was on the field last year or as a true freshman, he made plays. But he was never on the field. This coaching staff played everybody and anybody above him, whether it was MJ Sherman, fill in the blank, right? PRINCEWILL, by the end of the year, you knew he was transferring because, again, he had his head down the sideline. He was mad all the time. Even when we beat Wisconsin, he wasn't even celebrating because he was like, man, I should have played more. So he didn't leave because of NIL. The NIL would have been fine. We just didn't play him as much. And I'm worried the exact same thing is happening right now with Wilson Mekhi. And I'm worried it might happen with Dawson Merritt. Okay, when you have young studs, put them on the field or else they will leave and play well elsewhere. And you're seeing it right now with PRINCEWILL. So really disappointed Nebraska let him leave. But that's on the coaching staff. That's not NIL. That's on the coaching staff for not playing him. And then Brian Kelly. Look at what Brian Kelly did yesterday. Got absolutely blown up by Texas A&M. I was watching that one. LSU, they want him fired. And that would mean a lot for Nebraska recruiting, particularly, 5-star tight end Ahmad Hudson, who we'll talk about later this week. 5-star offensive lineman Albert Simeon, a bunch of others. Hey, man, there's some huge ripple effects. So if they do, in fact, fire Brian Kelly because they want him gone, it's going to mean a lot of good things for Nebraska. We should definitely take advantage of that. Will they actually fire Brian Kelly? I don't know. His buyout's crazy. But they hate him, man. They want him gone. So worthy of noting. As for my reaction to all the Big Ten games and their implications toward Nebraska, UCLA got annihilated again. They got talent, but man, they are not well coached compared to Indiana. They took it to them. So UCLA, again, that should still be a victory for Nebraska. And we should win easily, really. But again, that'll be a tough game. We know how it is. We always have these tight games, especially on the road. So UCLA will probably be a tight game, but should be noted they got blown out versus IU. Man, Wisconsin Wisconsin actually gave Oregon a fight yesterday. They lost, per usual. They're not going to win another game this season. They're going to go 2-10. But, hey, man, they gave Oregon a fight. Kudos. Kudos to Luke Fickell. At least you're keeping it close. That's a moral victory. You're making improvement, guys. You're making improvement. Illinois lost to Washington. And this is sometimes why I'm kind of down on Dillon, is because I compare Dillon to Demond Williams. Both those guys are sophomore quarterbacks. Demond Williams is special, man. I mean, he is special. He's dual threat, but he's special. He's a great arm. And what he's done this season is impeccable. I mean, he's so much better than Dillon in every way. And they're both sophomores, and they both have very similar situation. They're both 6-2. So I don't know. But again, I don't want to compare them because they're different quarterbacks, different play styles, different everything. But Demond Williams, I mean, if I could trade Dillon for Demond Williams, I would do it in a heartbeat. If I had a button to press, I would spam that button. Not because Dillon's bad, but because Demond Williams is different. I mean, that kid could be in the Heisman race next year. As for Illinois, Illinois, I was kind of shocked. I thought they were going to win that ball game. Michigan barely beat Michigan State. Come on, Michigan. Come on, Michigan. You are a quality loss for us. You need to continue to win and make us look good. Iowa routed Minnesota. Oh, man. Gosh dang it, Minnesota. We knew that was a bad loss on the time. I told you guys when we lost to Minnesota, they're a terrible team. They were ready to go. They hate us. It was a home game for them. It was primetime television. They were ready for the moment, but they're not actually a good team. And you saw it yesterday versus Iowa. I mean, that's going to be a tough game versus the Hawkeyes. It always is, but we don't know what Iowa's going to look like. Iowa could crumble by the time we play them. Mark Gronowski could get injured by the time we play them. You never know. It's still a month away, so I'm not going to freak out about Iowa just yet. It scares me for sure. It scares me, but it's still a little bit away. And then Cincinnati, man, that team just keeps winning. They just keep winning. I mean, they're not playing anybody good. I mean, seriously, look at their schedule. Who have they beat? Oklahoma State, Central Florida, barely beat Kansas, barely beat Iowa State. I mean, literally, they don't have a quality win on the schedule. I mean, Iowa State was a ranked win, but Iowa State has lost a couple games ever since then. So, hey, man, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do when you play in an easy conference, but I can't complain. I mean, they're making us look good. So Cincinnati, they keep winning. I was definitely wrong about them. I told you guys, I don't think Cincinnati's good. And I still don't think Cincinnati's that good. But they're at least beating other bad teams. Oh, Cincinnati's not bad, but they're beating some bad teams because the Big 12 is absolutely awful. As for the rest of college football, I mean, nothing crazy. We talked about Texas barely beat Mississippi State. Bill Belichick almost beat Virginia, but almost. Yeah, nothing crazy. Another week in the books. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below about everything. If you made this far, hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you for 14,000. Go Big Red, go my bro, and I'll see you in the next one.